Hey, Rodney. I think the last time we spoke to Jim, he was talking about how it seems like you're taking on more responsibility in terms of versatility on the field, playing that safety position, maybe a little more the quasi linebacker spot that Malcolm had previously played. How has that adjustment been going? Obviously, you're still in the post a fair amount, but is there more on your plate now, and how do you feel you're playing in that role?
Honestly, I'm just doing what's asked of me and what's kind of demanded of me from coaches and players, whatever it takes to win. So, if that's me being in the post, 80% of the snaps, I embrace it and do my best. If that demands me to spy on Lamar Jackson, versus Baltimore, or play more of that nickel linebacker role on third downs, then I just do it. I played multiple positions throughout my career, nickel, cornerback, and obviously majority of the time as a free safety. So it's good just being able to move around a little bit in this defense and help us win games and make plays.
If I could follow up just real quickly, we see you now breaking the guys down pregame as well. Is that another role that you've taken on as well this season as opposed to previous ones here?
Yeah, and that was understood because I came into a team where Malcolm Jenkins was the leader, and I respected that, and I played my role accordingly. My role consisted of breaking the DBs down at some point on game days, but Malcolm was the voice that the team needed to hear, and now I've taken on that position, and everyone's accepted it, and I love it, man. Get my team ready each and every week, take pride in it, and having the C on my chest.
We'll go to Kristen and then Rube.
Hey, Rodney. Since you guys were off yesterday, I was curious if you watched the Washington Cowboys game, maybe from your home, if you're able to watch any of that, and your thoughts on what you saw from that Dallas team that's now going to be coming here on Sunday.
Yeah, I was able to take a glimpse of that team and watch some of that game. Regardless of their record and what transpired yesterday, we understand who the Cowboys are and what this game means to both sides. It's a division opponent, and there's a lot of history between the two teams. And so you have to just put records aside, and you have to just play ball. Any given Sunday, anything can happen. So we're going out there preparing for a fight. It's going to take, us playing 60 minutes of ball, man, in all three phases. That's what it's going to take to win this game. Despite their injuries, we're kind of in the same position. There's no excuses, and we understand what we have to get done.
Ruben and Martin.
Hey, Rod, following up on that, is it easier to focus on a team that obviously is having some issues because they're a division team? It's a rivalry. They've kind of had your number a little bit lately. Does that kind of make that process easier than if it was a team you're not that familiar with?
There's a lot of familiarity there. Of course, they have a new coaching staff, though, so we have to take a closer look at the film and see how they're attacking defenses now. But preparation won't change, and execution has to be at an all-time high. Every game moving forward is like a playoff game for us in this division. And we haven't done anything yet. We did our job last week in beating the Giants, but now the next job is taking care of Dallas on Sunday.
Martin and then Dave Zangaro.
Hey, Rodney. One area where the Cowboys aren't banged up is at wide receiver, and obviously Amari Cooper's had a bunch of big games against you guys. You also know about Michael Gallup, and they also drafted CeeDee Lamb. Like, how difficult of a task is it to cover their receivers, and how do you think Darius Slay will kind of impact that as well?
Yeah, they have a very good skill group from Ezekiel Elliott in the backfield to Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb. Guys are making a lot of explosive plays for them, and they have that capability. So we have a great challenge for us as defensive backs. And I think, we will accept that challenge. Darius Slay, I expect nothing less of him to go out and do what he's done for us this entire season, and that show up, be the consistent player that he is and make plays for this defense. And that's what's going to be asked of him on Sunday, and that's what we're going to do.
Dave and then Zach.
Hey, Rod, obviously everyone knows that the record's in the division right now. Around the league, I guess people are kind of making jokes about the division. Inside the locker room, what's been the talk about some of the struggles all the teams are facing right now?
We haven't really looked at anyone else. It's been about us, and we've stuck together, and we believe in one another. And so we made a commitment, man, last week to say, hey, let's commit for these next 3 weeks. We understand the opponents that we have. Let's take it one game at a time. But it's about us. Everything that's transpired this season has been, for the most part, self-inflicted. And like I said, we just decided and made a commitment that these next 3 weeks we're going to make them count and put ourselves in good position.
I'm sorry if I could follow up. Was that a spoken thing? Or was that just kind of an understood thing?
It was spoken. By Doug, head coach, just making a commitment for these next 3 weeks. That first week started last week with the Giants. This is the second week, and Cowboys are next. That's it.
We have time for a few more, so we'll go Zach, Nick, and John.
Hey, Rodney, you spoke earlier about the different ways you're being used. It's year 9 for you, year 5 in the scheme. How do you think you're playing relative to previous seasons?
I would say I'm playing well, I think. It's really not up to me. But, the biggest thing is, my performance doesn't really matter. I just want to win. And, you can have the best performance on Sundays, but if they don't correlate to wins, then you have to go back to the table and figure out how can you do more. And that's what I'm trying to do, figure out ways to attack the ball, whether, that's interceptions or working on forced fumbles, working on, pass rush moves when my number is called, on blitzes. So just trying to do whatever it takes, man, to win and get us and have us win this division, honestly.
Last two here with Nick and John.
Hi, Rodney. You mentioned this a little bit earlier about Dallas' struggles, but has that really surprised you? And depending on reports, it just seems like they're on a scale they have a full-scale mutiny on the verge of happening over there. Do you pay much attention to it? And if so, do you have to really guard against thinking that the game might be a little too easy for you?
Yeah, no, I don't think you can pay too much attention because they are a talented team, and their record does surprise me. But I understand who they have over there and what they're capable of doing. And like I said, I think every man over here understands who they have in the backfield, who they have lined up at the receiver position. So we cannot take them lightly. And like I said, man, this is a rivalry game. A lot of history, and quite frankly, they embarrassed us last year at their home. So we have a chip on our shoulder, and we got to go out there and prove ourselves.
Go ahead, John.
Hey, Rod. Just going all the way back to Jeff's question about leadership. When you were coming back and you re-signed in the offseason, was that kind of expressed to you that they wanted you to take that next step as a leader, or was it a more natural sort of evolution for you?
I think it was understood, but it was mentioned once I signed back. But I think it was already understood once Malcolm, they decided Malcolm wasn't coming back. And so I accepted the role, man, proudly. Like I said, before this even took place, I was already viewed as a leader on this team, and now just my role has increased a little bit more. That's it.
Hey, Fletch, Eagles-Cowboys week, it's always a huge week, and in a strange turn of events this year, it's against two-win teams. How surprised are you by their record, and what does this game mean to you guys this week?
Obviously, every game means a lot, but it's different. It's Cowboys week, and You know, they've won 2 games, we've won 2 games, but really, in the bigger picture of things, you really can throw the records out of the window because we know they're gonna bring it. It's another division game for us. You know, another game for us to go out and get better as a team. And this week, just keep the main thing. You know, make it about us. Attack the week, and then attack the game on Sunday.
Ed and then Les.
Hi, Fletch. Dallas is obviously struggling, and there's talk that there's trouble maybe inside the locker room. When you look at it, even just hear about rumors about that, when you see what you guys have gone through again, and here you are starting to turn things around, does it make you appreciate the culture that Doug and you as the leaders set in that locker room?
I mean, the biggest thing for us is, to control our locker room. We can't worry about what goes on in another organization. For us, we have our own problems. We have guys. We have guys here that's dinged up, guys that's coming back. We have a lot of stuff. We got a bunch of stuff that we can control in our locker room, and we can control what we can control, and not worry about what another organization is doing. Because again, like I said, it's the NFL. They get paid to play too. They get paid to make plays, and I'm pretty sure they'll be pumped up to come here. Sunday Night Football and primetime game, divisional game. We're excited about it as a team, and all we can do is prepare for it and be ready.
Les and then Bo.
Hey, Fletch. The defensive line has done a real good job getting pressure, a real good job stopping running backs. But these runs by people who aren't running backs seem to come up again and again. And obviously the 80-yard Jones run the other night. What happens on these plays? What kind of explanation and what needs to change to stop these things from happening?
I mean, I'm no defensive coordinator. I'm employee 91. All I can do is control, what's called, what's going on the field, what we're doing. The biggest thing is that they got him tackled. He tackled himself. We got him tackled, and we was able to live the next play. So I think that was the biggest thing: get him on the ground, get him tackled, and you live to fight another play. They did that. We did that, and we just moved on to the next series.
Bo and then Chris Franklin.
Hey, Fletch, you guys had so many injuries at defensive tackle last year, and now with Hassan out and Malik banged up, it seems like that's, maybe coming again. Do you feel, does your body feel better than it did last year when you had to play so many snaps, and are you ready to, amp that up again?
Absolutely. I just go out there and I just play. When it's time for me to come out, Coach Berg do a great job at rotating guys. It don't matter who's out there. For guys on the sideline fresh and ready to roll, then you just rotate that guy in depending on how the series going, and just depends on the flow of the game. I trust those guys. They trust me to tell them, hey, look, I need to come out on this one right here. Let Ty take it. Whoever that guy is, whoever that guy may be, that's we're doing in the rotation. Matt does a great job of trying to keep guys fresh. And it really depends on how the flow of the game is going.
Chris and then Jeff.
Hey, Fletch, speaking of T.Y., what's been your assessment of his play, seen throughout this season so far? I know he's only played, I think, 2 games so far. What's been your assessment when he's been in the game? And then also, what do you feel like? What is he like outside of, in the locker room and outside of off the field?
I mean, T.Y.'s been great for our D-line. He's been great for the room. He's been great for the team because, T.Y., he's one of those guys, he just work on his craft all the time. And you see him, he's a guy, he comes in and help us, here Thursday, he was a rotational guy. In practice, you see him. He's a guy that's important to our room, and I'm glad that we have him. And he's played a lot of ball in the league, and that's another plus. He understands football and understands what teams are trying to do to us, and he understands the defense. When you got a guy that understands the defense, a guy that understands what we're doing up front. When we prepare for these teams, all you can do is have his back. He got our back, and we just roll with him.
We'll take 2 more here with Jeff and then Kristen.
Fletch, I guess we don't know Zach Martin's status for Sunday, but this offensive line, it looks a lot different than the one that you guys have become accustomed to over the last several years. Banged up and missing guys, and obviously the retirement of Travis Frederick. How are they different than previously?
Obviously it's not the same lineup. They have a bunch of different guys. Hey, they're a bunch of different guys that's rolling in and rolling out. They got a few guys that hurt, and it's just one of them things. They do a good job of being coached, and we just got to make it about us. Like I said, every week we go in thinking no matter who's playing, it's our D-line versus their offensive line, and let's see who comes out on top. that's our mentality in the room every week. That's my mentality. That's everything we try to push to, dimensions to the defensive line. It's us versus them. Let's see who comes out on top at the end of the day, and that's how our group approach it. No matter who's playing.
Go ahead, Kristen.
Hey, Fletch, going back to the Cowboys game yesterday against Washington, was curious, since you guys were off, how you watched the game, if you were able to watch the game live, maybe from your couch, and, your thoughts on what they showed yesterday against Washington.
Was that a trick question? Because I don't watch football. So
You know what? I was trying. I thought this might be a new start for you. I don't know. Just had to throw it out there.
Nah, maybe you could have probably tried that when I was maybe a long time ago, but not now.
So what did you do? What did you do on your Sunday yesterday then?
Nothing. It was raining yesterday, so kind of stayed inside a little bit, hung out in the house. Thought about going hunting on yesterday, but didn't want to be raining, didn't want to be wet and cold, so I just enjoyed it inside, hung out a little bit, and just kind of enjoyed the day. I kind of got my body prepared for today's practice, and just kind of getting ready for the week.
Hey, Richard. Quite an evening last Thursday. The best you've had in a while. I know you've had much better evenings than that in the distant past, but it must have felt real good to show you could do that again. And if you'll have some time here where you're the number one guy, I guess. And what can that do as far as reestablishing you where you want to be as a tight end in the league and going forward?
I mean, you guys know by all my answers, I'm not really concerned about my status as a tight end or anything like that. Like I've said a million times, I'm just going to try to help the team wherever I can. There was a couple big spots last game where I was able to get open and just try to catch the ball when it's thrown to me.
Were you ever worried during the last few years that your career was sort of, going in the wrong direction, that things with injuries and so forth, that you could end up, without another chance to do this kind of thing?
Yeah, I think that's always a concern, especially with injuries. You never really know how you're going to bounce back from an injury, and that's definitely in the back of your head. But I've always tried to stay positive, and you can't really control much with an injury, so just rehab and try to stay the course, and hopefully everything works out in the end. That's really all you can ask for.
Kristen and Rube.
Hey, Richard, you just spoke about the game on Thursday, but curious what that week was leading up to it with your work with Carson. I mean, it was a short week, but where does that chemistry come from on these short weeks? I mean, where's that relationship at with you guys?
I think that's just preparation. Carson obviously knows exactly what he wants to do in the offense, and he knows what he needs us to do in the offense. So as long as we're all on the same page, things like that are going to happen. I mean, it's not really just about me being on the same page with Carson. I think it's everyone being on the same page as a whole group. So that was a very positive thing we did after a short week, to just be on the same page and everyone connecting like that in the game it's impressive.
Ruben and Nick.
Hey, Richard, I was wondering if it was a difficult transition. You were a pretty high pick with the Packers back in the day, and to have such a team first attitude now, did it take a while to kind of, after it didn't work out in Green Bay and your career took a different turn, did it take a while to kind of develop that attitude of I just want to instead of thinking about maybe the numbers and that kind of thing, to develop the attitude you have now?
Yeah, I've always had this attitude. I've never really thought of it as I'm trying to get my own stats or anything like that. If you turn on my film from Green Bay, you'll see that I'll do whatever I needed to do to help the team win and get my job done. Special teams, being on the hands team, no matter what it is, I always try to get my job done to help the team win. It's never been about numbers, because the way I look at it is whoever's in the position of being the number one or the number two guy, you're going to get production no matter what. So I really don't look at it as numbers at all. I think it's just all of us trying to get our job done.
Nick and then Paul Domowitch.
Hi, Richard. About those injuries, the last couple of years, you haven't been able to go, but they've had Zach, they've had Dallas. Is it more gratifying to you now? You obviously don't want to see them hurt, but they don't have Zach and Dallas, and at least they have you. Do you feel better that you're able to go now and contribute in a year when they really need you the most?
Yeah, I think that's definitely encouraging for me. Like Zach and Dallas being out, they're my friends, and I obviously want to hold down the position while they're out. So, just being able to step in and do my job, that's what I take pride in. So, execution, like I said, and all of us being on the same page is a big part of that. But, just holding it down for them while they're out, that's important to me.
One quick follow-up there. Wile E. Coyote, can you explain that on your shirt?
The Hundreds is it's a brand in LA that I like it, and they have a collab with the Looney Tunes and stuff like that. So I have a bunch of their sweatshirts with Wile E. Coyote on it.
We'll end here on Damo's question.
Yeah, Richard, you had the 2 catches on that last go-ahead drive that kind of kick-started it, the 11 and 30-yard catches from Carson. Can you just quickly walk us through those 2 plays, where you were in the progression, that sort of thing?
The long one, I had a basic route, and I just saw Carson scramble out to the right. I kind of knew I was going to be in the open space, so I knew if he looked back to me, he would probably throw it, and he did. So that was that play, and then the 11-yarder, I don't remember it, so I can't really take you through that one.
Hey, Greg, how's it going?
Going good. How are you?
Doing well. We haven't seen Jalen Reagor play in the game since week 2. Kind of wondering what he's been like in the building during this time and how big of a boost it would be to get him back.
Jalen is the same guy. He loves to have fun, always asking questions, a student of the game. And it'll definitely be big if we can get him back. So we're just going to keep praying for him.
Can you tell how much he's kind of itching to finally get back out there?
Definitely. Just like I said, he's a student of the game, constantly asking questions, constantly working on his craft and trying to get back out there, and that's all we can ask for.
Paul and then Jamie.
Yeah, Greg, with all these young guys and Deshaun being hurt, do a lot of them come? Do you kind of are you almost a teacher to them in a lot of ways? Do they come to you with a lot of questions? Do you try to help them in making this transition, even though you've only played 13 games yourself?
Definitely, they always come to me asking me questions, but I like to go to them and talk to them about ball, just out of the blue. And some plays that I watch, I ask them about it and see what they're thinking. I believe we all can learn from each other, and we're all pretty tight in that room, so I think that's going to carry us a long way.
Jamie and then Martin.
Greg, with the division being as weak, you could say, as it is, how do you guys make sure that you don't just settle for, all right, we just got to be better than, the rest of these teams? You look at the Cowboys game this week, they have 2 wins, you have 2 wins. How do you guys kind of make sure that you stay ahead of the game?
We definitely have standards. I'm not worried about nobody else. We're just worried about what we need to do. We need to go out there and play at our best, and I feel like that's our main focus. Not really worried about anybody else. Whenever you start doing that, bad things happen. So we honestly just controlling what we can and just making sure that we go out there and we execute every single play.
Martin and then Rube.
Hey, Greg. I want to ask you about another rookie, John Hightower. He's had like a 50-yard catch in each of the last 2 games. And, the first one against the Ravens came after he dropped, one that could have probably gone for as long, if not longer. What's it been like watching him develop this season, and how much better can he even get as the season goes on?
John's a baller. He definitely is a huge factor on the offense. He's definitely an explosive player. The guy's a playmaker, so we all know what he can do, and he's definitely going to go out there and just continue to make those big plays for us. And we all know what he can do. We all trust in him, and we have no doubt that he's going to go out there and continue to do the same thing that he did this last game.
Ruben and Damo.
Hey, Greg, you mentioned how tight all the guys in the wide receiver room are. How does that help you as a group to improve?
It helps out a lot, man. It just helps the guys. They want to play for the guys next to them instead of themselves. We always talk. We always in the group messages, whatever it is, we always checking on each other, just making sure that everybody's good, and I think that's very important. You know, just like I said, you're not just playing for yourself, but you're playing more for the guy that's next to you.
Damo and then Bo.
Greg, you're among the league leaders in third down catches. I think you got 11, 9 for first downs. There are a lot of great receivers in this league, and a lot of them aren't particularly effective on third down. What's the key for you on third down? How much of it is just earning the trust of your quarterback and having him want to look for you, on those downs?
Consistency. Just trying to be an open target for the quarterback. Get open as fast as possible. Because, on third down, defenses like to do crazy things like bring blitzes and all this other stuff. So my main focus is just play fast and get open for them.
A quick follow-up.
Just make the play whenever it comes to me.
A quick follow-up. You've talked before about how your background as a quarterback has really helped you understand zone coverage and what they're trying to do and finding the openings in zones. How have you evolved as a receiver against man coverage the last, late last season and through this year?
Constantly staying after practice, working on my craft, talking to guys like Jason Avant, actually talking to the young guys, seeing what they think on certain routes and certain techniques, and just watching the film, man, and going out there and just having a route in my head after practice and seeing a certain defense and just trying to run it different ways to get open.
Go ahead, Bo.
Hey, Greg, on the topic of John Hightower, it seems like he has sort of a habit of getting into like pushing matches or like pushing fights with opposing DBs after the play. Is that something that you guys have seen in the wide receiver room? Is there something about him that makes sense?
Nah, we all pride ourselves on playing to the whistle. So I think that's just what he's doing. I don't think he's doing anything crazy. He's just playing to the whistle, and that's what we need. We always preach that.